That is it. Sir,
Yes.
sir,
Uh-huh.
good evening. How are you? I don't have any lights. I'm gonna log off and to come back on because I don't have much. So I'm just gonna come on and back about me have no light.
Okay.
All right.
Good evening, Miss Adams. You are the first person to be here. I'm not sure where everybody else is.
Good evening. And I thought I was late.
Huh?
And I thought I was late. Let me message in the group.
I'm sure they were at their class a while ago, and they keep coming to my class late. So, right. Okay. No, that's not right. All right, are you seeing my screen? We had asked about the rubric. Social media marketing campaign. Let me just put the word campaign there. You're seeing the rubric, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, so this is the rubric for the assignment that you're doing for me. So I need to put this in center, bold, and probably like this. Yes. So the overview, social vision, social mission, objectives.
Sir, what is the buyer's journey?
We talked about that in the last class. That's one of the.
I thought it was this. Well, how I did it, I put that under the primary and secondary target. Should it be broken out?
That's not the buyer's journey. That's not the buyer's journey. The buyer's journey starts with what? Awareness, consideration, conversion.
Oh, the customer succession plan.
Yes, right.
Oh, so I should rename it?
The buyer's journey is, so that is what is called the buyer's journey.
Okay.
In other words, what are you doing at each leg of the campaign? What exactly are you doing? Which platforms are you using? All right, just use the example that I sent you. Okay?
Okay, sir.
And these are the two ads I've given you, right? Which one are you said that you're doing?
The NCB one.
Okay, all right. Let me just email this to you guys.
Sir, so the topics are the, let me see, the buyer's journey. It should be awareness, interest, consideration, conversion, and retention.
Yes.
And you had said the way how that person had did it, you wanted information instead of just
Right. So in other words, what platforms are you using for each leg of that, and even what content? Remember when we're looking at content marketing, and there's an example there that showed you, for example, for awareness, this is what you possibly could do. For whatever else, this is what you possibly could do. For interest, for conversion and all of that.
Yes, sir, yeah.
Right. I'm just sending it to you guys. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to send the, or is it an issue to find it? So this, here it is. Oh, you know what? Let me not only rely on that. Where's the rest of the class? I'm wondering. This as well. Because I don't want anybody to say that I sent it to something that they don't use. All right. All right, let me know if you got the email with the coursework.
Got it, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right, thank you guys very much. All right, so that coursework, oh yes, let's go into Turnitin now, because I realize that some persons are also not paying attention there. You were supposed to have, oh, that's a different group. Let me go to all classes. Digital marketing. All right, so no one has uploaded anything to the research day review. Why have you guys, the time you got when it was research day is not for you to guys to go watch TV, you know, you were supposed to have gone to the research and upload your research day review. Did we actually go to research day when I asked you to?
Sir, I didn't go to research day. I wasn't able to. I didn't watch it, and
Can you, all you need to do is to request the video.
yes, the video is very long, and there are a lot
No, you
of.
don't need to watch everything, just watch 1 or 2 presentations and write a review. So choose any 2 academic presentations and write a review.
Sir, so we can still do that now because I really thought the time given to do it, given all of the assignments that we have, was really short. So
No, but this social media marketing thing was not very short, you know, because I gave you to you long time. The digital advertising and creative brief, you have done it already. All you now need to do is to upload it, as well as your Google Analytics assignment.
no, I'm not talking about that, sir. I'm talking about the research day review. You gave us 1 day to do it.
No, because you were supposed to have done is to done it in real time. As you finish watching, then you write the review because it's fresh in your mind. Now that you're saying that you didn't get a chance to watch it, then, oh, I need to edit this thing then. Let me edit.
Oh, sir, and I don't see how to upload things in Turnitin. And I went on it today.
All right, so let's look at how to upload to Turnitin. Hold on, let me show you. All you needed to have done is gone into YouTube. I keep telling students, whenever you're having a challenge, one of the easiest ways to learn is to try to solve the problem on your own. When I was doing my master's, I had to do a lot of that. If you ever go to your professor and tell Professor Hope about that, she said, go and learn how to do it, how to submit a paper assignment. All right, so are you seeing my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
This training video will take a student through submitting a paper to an assignment that has been set up by their instructor. First, you want to go to your My Classes page. You'll click on the class name that you want to have the paper submitted to. You'll find your assignment there set up by your instructor. Click on the Submit icon. That will take you to the page where you'll be able to submit your paper. Your first and last name will automatically update into the system. You'll be able to put the title of your paper into the box, and then go down and click on Browse, find the file on your computer, and we're basically taking Microsoft Word files, text files, RTF files, PDF files, and the other files that we select. They're already here listed. And then click on Upload. That will then check your paper to make sure it's compatible with the system. You're then going to be taken to a preview page. This is where you'll see the text from the file that you're uploading. You want to check to make sure that all the file is there. When you are satisfied that that's the file you want to upload, click on Submit. That will then send the file to the system. Once it's been successfully submitted, you will see the message saying your submission was successful. This is the digital receipt for your paper. You will see the paper ID number here. It's always a good idea to either print this page out or write down the paper ID number. That's your confirmation the paper was submitted. You will also see the text from your file. You can then go to the portfolio page, and that will take you back to your English class that you're in. You'll see the paper, and you'll actually click on the Show Details listing to actually see your paper's been submitted, and in this case, the originality report has already been completed.
All right, so you want to try and submit one now?
Yes, sir. That's what I'm doing.
So let me share about the link in the chat. Try to submit it in the right bin. So I've labeled all the assignments correctly. So try and submit at least one assignment, okay? Let me know when you have submitted it. Guys, everybody try and submit at least one of your assignments. Although if you did anything as a group, please ensure that only one person submits it if it is a group work. All right, because if more than one submits it, it's going to increase what is called the similarity index. All right, so if it's group, only one person submits. So I'm giving you guys about 5 minutes or so to submit, all right?
Sir, so I uploaded the Google Analytics one.
You have uploaded that one?
Yeah, that one was group work. So I
Okay.
will be the one to upload that one.
All right, so let me check to see if it's there. Right, so I'm seeing that one. All right, so let me show you screen. So here it is. You're seeing my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, all I need to do is to click here. The assignment comes up. It tells me the similarity index. And then I'm able to grade based on what is there. right, so that was submitted. Anybody else has submitted anything? What about the individual? Please submit, guys, so that I can see the thing now. Some of you are going to have challenges, so let's do it now.
Sir, I'm unable to do it right now because I'm not home as yet, and it's and I'm using my phone for the class.
Okay.
I'm using my phone.
Oh, phone as
I'm
well.
using my.
Okay.
Remember,
All right. Mrs. Miller. Natisha, what about you?
Sir, I'm using my phone, but I will try now. Sir,
it's going to be difficult with your phone. It's better you use when you're on a desktop or a laptop.
Sir, each group member must submit it?
No, if it was group-based, then you don't submit. But I'm sure, remember, if you look, for example, at, let me go back to, there are several things that are there for you to submit. So let me go to share screen. There's a research day review, which is individual. That's individual, that's not group-based. This was group, so one group has submitted. Digital advertising was 3, 2, 1. I need for this to be submitted now. This one now, I need to remind myself about it. Oh yes, this is due on Sunday. The social media marketing campaign is due Sunday 11:59. Hold on, let me make sure that's the date I put. Let me just edit this thing to make sure that's the date I put. No. This is the 16th. The 16th at. Oh no, right, it's the 16th, 11:59. So this is due, the social media marketing campaign is due Sunday, 11:59. Sandwich. All right, the only thing that you're not able to submit yet, which is 50% off, is your digital marketing plan, which is what I'm going to start teaching tonight.
Sir, if I upload this before Sunday, you mark it and tell me where I went wrong and
No.
okay.
Sir, for the one that is due on Sunday, is it possible for you to for me to show you what I have so far and you tell me, give me your feedback before?
I can't guarantee that I'll get to look at it. You can send it and I'll try and comment, but
okay.
I can't guarantee that because I have a lot. I'll try and do my best, but you can't send it Sunday for feedback on Sunday.
No, sir.
All right, and please remember the weekend is my time. I am not being paid to look at anything over the weekend. So if I were you, I'd try to get it in by Friday before 4 o'clock when the work period ends.
Okay, sir.
All right.
Okay.
So the only thing that is left now is a digital marketing plan. That is the 50% of your grade, and you're only allowed to do this in pairs or by yourself. Only in pairs or by yourself for the digital marketing plan. Some of it you kind of know already because it's the same, it's somewhat similar to the structure of the social media marketing plan. However, with the digital marketing plan, there are more things involved. For example, a SWOT analysis. And this is not due the 25th of May. It's actually due, oh, I need to edit this. Because it's the exam, because it's the exam of the course, it actually goes over into June. Because it is the exam, the post date can be this. Post date has to be about this. UIC.
Sir, I'm gonna do the same as Almarine. I can send you mine now. I don't know if you'll have the time now to look at it after.
Well, not no. I'm about to get into my lecture. All right, so you can send me after the class. What are they saying? But it's okay because it was corrected. Right, so this was corrected. You know, next week is our last class, right? Last week of school, right? Do we know that? Teaching ends May 22, I think.
Well, I just know, sir, when you said it, I just know.
You guys need to check your emails. The email was sent to you about final exam and all. You guys don't pay attention to any of those things at all.
Sir, I just uploaded the creative brief. You can check if you see it, please.
Yes, I'm seeing it because I see one there. Are you seeing my screen?
Oh yes, yes.
Right. So once I go here now, I click, I'm going to see it. 12% similarity index. You did this on your own, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is the creative brief, project background, and so forth. And I think I gave you comments on this, right?
Yes, sir. And I made
Right,
the changes.
These are the advertising techniques. This is the target audience. Consumer message. Are these my comments where I'm seeing one and so?
Oh, sir, I think those are the similarity indexes.
Oh, yes, you're so correct. Right, you're correct. Competition, value proposition, differentiation. Well, the similarity index is very low, so I don't need to. And I'm sure you'd have to go and, right. Mandatory elements, benefits, data. So where's the logo as a part of the mandatory element? Anyways, it's not important. All right, yeah. Can someone else upload something? For example, oh, the other person said that they're using their phone, so fair enough, they can't upload. All right, so this evening, anybody knows where's Adrian? Was Adrian in the class before? He's usually not absent. Was he in the class before? Was he in your 5 o'clock class?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, that means he's generally not here then. All right, so today now we're going to start your digital marketing plan. And I think I had shared, let me just look at something. I think I'd shared a few of those with you guys some years ago. Links, documents, links. No, media. I'm gonna share it with you guys, I'm sure. Into something. Where are they? No, that's not true. I'm very positive about it that I shared it with you guys. Docs. Oh, okay. That's a creative brief, ad strategies. What is this? This is happening that for me. Okay, let me see. Right, okay. So let me just share a kind of guideline. It's very, as I said, I'm going to walk you through it, but I'm just showing you that I shared it in the WhatsApp group some time ago. This is a digital marketing analysis and plan for a particular brand. All right, and so the table of content is important. That part is very critical. If you look at the table of content, it's like it's a marketing plan, but it's just that this is a digital one. So company profile, situation analysis, you have to do the SWOT analysis, but of course it has to be digital, consumer insight, product insight, competitor analysis that you have, some of that you have been introduced to in looking at, in developing your social media marketing campaign. These are looking at all various types of digital platforms, the customer relationship management system, content, customer relationship management system, objective strategy. Of course, again, we spoke about positioning, segmentation, and all of that. We did a lot of that. Tactics, action, and all of that. All right, let's just glance through Notice how this is very detailed, 48 pages. But I want yours to be a PowerPoint presentation. I don't want a written document. All right, so giving you the company profile, situational analysis, where you really get into the whole SWOT. Anybody, have you ever heard about PESTO? This is a SWOT.
Yes,
Okay, all right. So they're looking at customer insight. And I'm not saying that you need to have every single thing that is in this document. This is just an, this is the unique selling proposition. Very, very critical in marketing, whether it be digital or otherwise. Very, very critical.
Could be a continuation of the social media marketing.
No, because let me tell you why it can't be a continuation. You see, because of social media marketing, the only way it is a continuation is if the assignment, the social media marketing was done. If you did it individually, then you can continue. But if you did it as a group, you can't continue. If you did it as a peer, fine, but not as a group. I don't want 3 persons working on this, because what happens with group work sometimes, persons hide behind those who understand the content. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes, sir. So we're using the same NCB though.
No, you're not using the same NCB. So in your case, so are you doing the NCB on your own, or you're doing it as a group?
I did it on my own.
So you can continue with NCB then. But remember, this is a digital marketing plan. Okay. What the other persons would have to do is to indicate to me now which specific brand they're going to work on. But I can't have everybody doing the same thing, all right? You can't be doing the same thing. No, it doesn't make sense. If you want to choose Digicel, Flow, Excelsior Community College.
So I can go ahead and choose something else other than NCB too? You can. Okay.
Just ensure that you run it by me and I give you the approval.
Okay.
So this is just an example. All right, so we're going to get now into the lecture itself. And if there are any questions, guys, feel free to ask. Let me just show again I did email the rubric for the social media marketing campaign, so that you know how you're being graded. Let's close this. Let's get into the lecture. No, this is not what I'm looking for. No, this is not what I want. Why do I end up here again? All right, so the first thing we want to talk about is what is a digital strategy? Because part of what is included in a digital marketing plan is a strategy. All the other things in terms of like company profile and all of that, those things you can get, those things are usually provided by the company. You can go to the company website and get that kind of information. But primarily what you're doing, you're trying to position a brand in the digital space, bearing in mind the competitors. So you're trying to outdo the competitors. All right, you're trying to find opportunities, minimize threats, and see how best you can capitalize on your strengths. All right, and fix your weaknesses. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what is a digital strategy. Let's listen. Please take notes, because remember, this final assignment values 50% of your final grade, and you have to work for this 50 marks. It's not going to be a walk through the park, all right?
Were founded and were able to thrive. The landscape under which they were able to do this was relatively stable, but that started changing in the 90s. From the 56K modem to broadband within a few years meant that the internet was just about everywhere, connecting people and businesses across time and space. The digital era dissolved borders, making the world become smaller and smaller every day. And yes, you've heard all this before, no doubt. The internet has taken over the world, and most companies know that the digital era is here to stay. Unfortunately, far too many companies don't take advantage of its possibilities or even understand the consequences for not keeping up with the digital evolution. In fact, there's a lot more than you might even realize. But with endless possibilities, the question to ask your company is, how do we identify the right digital initiatives for our company? To answer this, it's important to know the impact of each possibility, making sure that the direction your company takes is the right one, and that money is well spent. But how to identify the best way to go? Now that's the hard part. Don't just start building websites or apps. Start with creating a digital strategy. A digital strategy, when created and applied in the right way, will light up the direction for your company to take in order to become part of the digital age. Basically, a digital strategy consists of 4 phases: set a vision, stop and think, create a business case, prioritize. Let's go through the steps one by one. Start with establishing a digital vision for the company. This vision indicates where the company would like to be or what it would like to accomplish digitally within a certain time frame. Naturally, a gap will appear. You now know where to go, but not how to get there. Instead, stop and think. Take a look at your business internally. For instance, are your processes working as you'd like them to? Is your business functioning at its optimum? And look externally. What are the needs and expectations of your customers or business partners? And lastly, look at the development within yours and other industries. What are the current trends? With that inspiration in mind, you move on to the business case. You want to make well-informed decisions about your digital investment based on data and not based on assumptions or neat ideas. Do some number crunching. It will reveal the correlation between new digital initiatives and their potential value to the company. In other words, what'll give the most for less? By doing the math, your company will start to focus on digital possibilities as true business development instead of just online marketing. You'll only apply initiatives that stand a chance of making an impact, financially or brand-wise. It's important for the company to think holistically. Even though it requires more work in terms of research and analysis, the outcome will be worth it in the end. Digital concepts that take both internal and external factors into account will provide most value. Now it's time to act, and based on the knowledge of budgets and opportunities, the initiatives must be prioritized, and that's fairly simple. Put the easiest and smallest projects at the top. For each project, your organization will be better at executing digitally. Now you know where to start to narrow the gap between your company and its digital vision. And so, digital strategy is not about investing lots of money in the company online media budget. It's an inseparable part of the company's core fundamentals. Not just moving your company forward, but making it truly part of the digital era.
All right, so what do you understand the discussion about the digital strategy to be? Hello?
So it's not necessarily about spending a large amount of money, but spending smart. She also said that it has 4 phases. Digital strategy has 4 phases. You first set a vision to see where the company would like to be and what they would like to accomplish
In the digital space.
in the digital space.
That's very, very important that you say in the digital space.
Okay.
Right. So even your competitive analysis is actually looking at where your competitors are in the digital space and trying to either match them or do better. All right. So always remember, this is why the course is called digital marketing. So that is where your focus is on. All right. Everything you do now is, what am I going to do in the digital space? All right. How am I going to create opportunities in the digital space? How am I going to profit or reap even more benefits on my strengths and minimize risk and so forth. So please bear that in mind. We're talking about the digital space. Let's look at now components of the digital strategy or of a digital strategy. Sorry, please remember to take notes, guys.
How do you create a digital strategy? The first component of your digital strategy is your situation analysis. Where are we now? An analysis of your past marketing efforts, the result you got, and how much you spent. Competitor analysis. What are your competitors doing on social media, online? Checking their website out. You need to be able to understand where you are for you to create the right strategy for where you want to be. And that's number one, and it's very important. Number two is your objectives. What are we trying to achieve? And your objectives can be brand awareness. We want to reach more people with our messaging as much as possible. Or it can be sales. We want to sell as much as possible to potential consumers. Or it can be thought leadership. Or installation of your app, if you have one. Having the right objectives is critical at the end of the day for measuring the success of your activities online. After you've done your objectives, the next stage is your strategy. And I'll divide strategy into what I call the STP model. S for segmentation, being able to clearly articulate your target audience. Segmentation, using geography. Where are my consumers? Are they in Lagos? Are they in Nigeria? Or are they all over the world? Demography, their age, their gender, their income level. And then finally, psychography, their habits, lifestyle. What do they love? Their affinities, things like that. And then you move on to the T, which is a targeting. Being able to clearly articulate who your product or services resonate with in the market using the STP model. Or you can decide you want to target the highest segment of the market, the high net worth individuals, as they have the highest disposable income. The knowledge of your product or your service should determine which segment of the market you target, knowing fully well that each segment of the market has their disposable income, with the mass media being the lowest, followed by the mid-level professionals, and then the high net worth individuals. So the next factor in your segmentation is positioning. How do you intend to position the product or service in the market? You can either position based on price. The knowledge of your positioning should be gotten from your situation analysis. Can you compete based on price? Then if you can, fantastic, you can position based on price. Or you can decide to position based on benefit, meaning your product or your service has higher benefits than other competitors in the market, regardless of the price.
All right, so what are some of the components of your digital marketing plan? What are some of the things that you need to include in your plan?
The situation analysis, which would include the past marketing efforts and the competitors in analysis.
Right, so the situation analysis really is your SWOT analysis.
Right.
Your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. All right, yes, anything else?
The objectives, what are you trying to achieve, and your strategy.
Yes, anything else?
The strategy using the STP model, the segment, target, and positioning. Right.
What do you mean by segmenting again?
Are you, is your strategy targeting persons, well, the geography of the persons?
So segmentation means geography of persons?
Not only that.
So you're putting groups, you're putting consumers in the marketplace in different groups based on geography, psychography, demography,
Rural, also?
behavioral, yes.
Mhm.
So you put them into different quote unquote groups or segments, and you go after the segments that are the most profitable.
Okay.
So that's the targeting. All right. Anything else you should include?
Positioning.
Mm-hmm.
Is it that
Positioning means what? What we mean by positioning?
how are you going to reflect your product in the customer's mind?
Right. In other words, we're talking about your unique selling proposition.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to be based on your price or the benefit that your product or service comes with?
Could be a combination of those things. It doesn't have to just be price based. So it could be that you're positioning it in the marketplace as a luxury item, might be expensive, but it comes with these particular benefits. So it doesn't mean that you're going to position it in the marketplace one way. It could be positioned in the marketplace looking at location. It could be looking at lifestyle. It could be looking at, for example, health concerns, environmental concerns. It just depends on the brand that you're looking at and getting a general sense and feel of the brand. All right. Anything else? Or that's it?
That's basically all I got in my
Okay. Anybody else? I notice some persons are very quiet. All right, let's listen to another one relating to the various components that must be included in your digital marketing plan.
So the next component of your digital strategy is your tactics. How do we reach these people that we have clearly articulated at the target audience stage of your strategy? It's critical to make use of a consumer-centric approach, which the STDC model by Google helps you to do. STDC stands for See, Think, Do, Care. Your C-level audience is your largest addressable qualified audience. Basically, everybody that your product and services appeals to. Then you have your Think audience. That's your largest addressable qualified audience with little commercial intent. So basically, they are thinking about buying your product or service. And the Do audience are your largest addressable qualified audience with loads of commercial intent. So they're not just thinking about your product or service, they are ready to buy. And then the last is the Care audience. These are customers who have bought from you more than once. If they bought from you once, it might be a mistake or you were just lucky. But if they bought from you more than once, we can categorize them as your customer. So your tactics and your content must resonate with every segment of the STDC model. Let's do an example. Your C audience, your largest addressable qualified audience. Your key objective here is creating brand awareness, making sure that your largest addressable qualified audience have access to your content. True brand awareness as an objective. For your tactics, you might want to consider display advertising or videos on YouTube or even social media that allows you accessing a large pool of consumers. Then your Think audience. Don't forget we mentioned your Think audience is your largest addressable qualified audience with little commercial intent. They are thinking about buying your product or service. So your content and your tactics must help consumers make a decision at the Think stage. Basically, you want to drive conversions. Your content must be able to convince, inspire, motivate, drive action in the minds of the consumer. Your tactics must be tailored to help consumers take an action. And then you move up to the Do stage. That's your largest addressable qualified audience. with loads of commercial intent. So your content at this stage must be able to help consumers buy. They're ready to buy. They've been convinced at a think stage. Now they are ready to buy your product or your service. So at this stage, your content should involve or consist of frequently asked questions. Or your website should be optimized for consumers to easily take an action. Your phone number, your email for services. If it's an e-commerce website, the ability for consumers to buy straight from your website because they are ready to do that. Also, your tactics must also be tailored in helping those who are ready to buy easily. Social media is critical as one of your tactics at this stage. Email marketing is also critical at this stage in helping consumers who are ready. And then you move on to the last stage, which is your current customers who have bought from you more than once. Usually, small businesses neglect, even big businesses neglect this segment of the market because we believe that since a consumer has bought from you once, we move on to the next customer. Based on research, it's actually cheaper for you to keep or retain a consumer than to attract a new one. So it's important for a business to have content and tactics that addresses present customers.
All right. So what are some of the other considerations now in developing your digital marketing plan? Hello, Aldine, Almarie, Natisha.
Yes, sir.
I just asked a question. What are some of the other considerations for your digital marketing plan?
Sir, based on my understanding, you mentioned content and tactics just now. So tactics, based on my understanding, right, is how you go about marketing, whether or not you're marketing towards customers that you had before, or you're marketing to achieve new customers.
It also mentions what the communication channels that you're going to use, what platforms are going to use to communicate with your customers or your prospects. That's very, very, very important that you choose the right channels to communicate with your customers. In other words, you're meeting them wherever they are. So let's look at a few success stories. One is Nike. And how they ran a very successful digital marketing campaign. Nike transformed its marketing strategy by embracing key digital strategies such as data analytics, social engagement, and storytelling. Remember, we talked about storytelling as an advertising technique. Very important. So the problem, which is usually the business problem, Nike was not struggling for exposure or action. However, the brand was noticing that its traditional big budget advertising strategy was seeing fewer returns over time. The biggest market for Nike products consists of young people, but these Generation Z, Y customers weren't paying attention to a big top-down media and were looking for a brand that offered constant change and innovation, not the same old thing over and over. Nike realized it needed a new approach to reach this digital audience. The solution, Nike dropped its spending on traditional advertising and increased its budget on digital advertising. So it used a combination of technological innovations, data analytics, and social engagement to reach new digitally savvy audience. Engineers and scientists associated also assisted them. One of Nike's biggest accomplishments was the creation of Nike Plus in 2010 a device that lets users track their exercise regimens, upload these to the web, monitor their progress, and share their achievements socially. In other words, people are now a part of the brand. This community created incredible volumes of data, which Nike used to track behaviors, create online communities and spaces for Nike fans, and build meaningful relationships between the brand and customers. It moved its social media marketing team in, so it had a closer connection to this data, and they were data-driven. So Nike also embraced a range of other digital best practices, a strong focus on storytelling, being an authentic brand, understanding and communicating in customers on their terms, being remarkable and shareable, very important, and allowing mass customization. So fans were able to create their own custom shoes designs and have them shipped. Very, very important. What are the results? Or the ROIs, return on investment? Nike's new approach has had excellent results. Nike reaches over 200 million fans every day in an interactive dialogue, rather than having to rely on big sponsored events such as Super Bowl. All right, and here they say that Nike shares rose by 120% between 2010 and 2012. Nike Plus experienced a 55% growth in membership in 2012. The main Nike Facebook page has over 15 million likes. Similarly, on Twitter, the brand is also engaging millions of fans. All right, so this is a perfect example of a successful digital marketing campaign. Another example is, I think this is actually the Caribbean. Is this the Caribbean? Page not found. Why? I'm not sure why the page is not found. Hold on, I think that page not coming up. It's an old example. All right, so page not found. Let's look on this one. All right, so this is another one. Another case study, or a few. All right, so 5 leading digital marketing strategy case studies to inspire your next change. Okay. So when Mint first launched in 2006, it was nothing more than an account aggregation service, yet Mint has now become a household name with over 20 million users. And you see all that they did. Despite this through a comprehensive online marketing campaign, Mint was able to successfully start acquiring revenue through lead generation by 2008. And they're showing you how Mint, using Mint blog explanation, videos, social media interaction. And I think this is one of the ads.
How do you keep track of your financial life? Statements? Spreadsheets? Scribbles? It's time for something better, something easier, something smarter. Mint is a free, easy way to manage your money that empowers you to take charge of your financial life. Get started with a simple one-time setup. Add your bank, credit card, home loan, and investment accounts. Mint quickly and securely pulls in the information and organizes it for you. That's it. No more bookkeeping. Mint keeps it all up to date. You can see all your accounts in one place with one login, anywhere, anytime. Mint uses bank-level security and alerts you to any suspicious transactions so you can rest easy. Mint shows you where your money goes. Your expenses are automatically categorized so you can keep track of how much and where you're spending. With one click, you can create a budget based on your spending history.
What is the purpose of this video? What's the advertising purpose of this video? Can anybody tell me what's the purpose of that?
To create a
advertisements have 5 purposes. Digital ads have 5 purposes, right? Remember, we spoke about them. Which of the 5 is that video trying to accomplish or is accomplishing? What is the video doing, people? When you were watching it, what exactly is the video doing?
inform?
It is not informing, it is educating you.
Okay.
It is giving you an education of how you can use Mint, but also the many benefits of using Mint. And this is something that would appeal to a much older generation. Notice the video is much longer, 1:31 seconds, 1 minute and 31 seconds. Older people will sit down and watch something like this because it involves money and all of that. So they were able to do this and become a household name. This is Dropbox, grows from 1 million to 500 million users in just 7 years. And again, it goes to their digital strategy. They created a clear landing page, built-in marketing incentives, and all of that. Golden Heart Senior Care leverages reputation management to build trust. And these are just various examples. I think I have a few that are actually Caribbean or even Jamaican, the case studies. If I remember, oh, Sanders Hotel. Yes, here is one with Sanders Hotel. Sanders Hotel. Is that what I'm trying to? Yes. Are you seeing my screen? Are you seeing my screen, guys?
Yes, sir.
All right, so here's a case study, Sandals Hotel. And what they're really showing you are really how Sandals was able to use digital marketing to achieve what they wanted. So you see they use pay-per-click, search engine optimization, analytics, and things like that. And how they sell themselves, all inclusive. I think they got help as well. Well, usually companies outsource some of it. And here are the achievements. They're telling you about, they don't go into very great detail in terms of what happened, and they give you other case studies. There's a Jamaican one as well. I think there's a Jamaican one. Is it this? Is this it? No, this is not Jamaican. So this one is based on social media. So utilizing Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the client's blog, we created the 6 months of summer campaign in order to help Blue Bay increase their brand awareness, attract new likes and followers, and overall see higher levels of engagement on social media in both the UK and Spain. The campaign resulted in 1,677 entry, over 34,000 engagement, and over 1.4, let's say at 1.4, 40,000 likes, and over 1 million people reached over the 6 months. All right, and they're showing you some of what they put out in the marketplace. This, I think it's Instagram. This looks like Twitter. How did we help? So after deciding that a social media competition would be suitable for Blue Bay, we came up with the idea of the 6 month summer campaign running. And these are always very good ways of getting people involved when it's a competition and people have to create content and upload it and they can win prizes or whatever. You find that people are very much engaged in all of that. I think, for example, a company like Grace Kennedy, they could actually have a cookout competition, but the cookout competition is island-wide and people cook using Grace Kennedy's product and then upload their videos and then allow the public to vote on which video is best and give those persons like a 500,000, 200,000. And I'm telling you, they would get a lot of people going to buy the Grace products. And give it a nice title, the campaign. I don't know if you want to say Wickedest Cooker, using the Jamaican dialect, Wickedest Cooker. Kind of playing on the whole notion of being the man's wickedest. I get a gallem of the wickedest slam, but of course you don't want to say that. But Wickedest Cooker, using something that is a little, very much Jamaican, like no dirty up Jamaica. Those are very smart ways. And this is important in many businesses. And I keep saying to you guys that if you go into marketing and digital marketing, you must be able to provide vision to your company, and especially to management. They're going to say to you, okay, Aldine or Almarine or Natisha or Renee, Tamara, Mother's Day is coming up. What can we do? What is the marketing strategy? What are we going to do on social media or digitally? Do we have a strategy? After Mother's Day, you have Father's Day, you have Valentine's Day, you have Christmas, all of these different periods, especially when you're working for an e-commerce company. You have to be able to come up with these kinds of strategies. And as I keep saying to you guys, you don't necessarily need to know to do everything, but need to guide people into the process in terms of branding the campaign, selecting the different platforms, and saying why these platforms have been selected and what is it that you hope to accomplish, understanding what your competitors are doing in the marketplace and being able to do it better. Things like that. Searching for opportunities, creating unique experiences for customers. I'm sure you guys remember, was it last year? I think it was last summer or the summer before, when KFC had it was every Tuesday, they had a special deal. And almost every Tuesday, Jamaica, in like Crossroads, Halfway Tree, traffic, because people were rushing to get their deal. It was a very smart marketing campaign. I think I have another one. The other one is Scotia. Another example, I should say. Right, so top 5 digital marketing trends Caribbean companies can't ignore. Mobile, of course, you have to reach your customers on their mobile phones. So you can target these phones, especially the apps that are on the phones that Jamaicans love to use, or you do some amount of mobile marketing. And I think this is a little bit old. Play that online video, online advertising. This is kind of old and stuff, but I think this was actually written. Which year is this? Because social media, right, 2008, social media has changed dramatically. Need to get some more current articles for that. Social media has certainly moved on from some of those kinds of discussions. What I want for you to do for me, I want for you to search for a local brand that you think has been doing very successfully, that has been a very successful digital brand. Let me put it that way. And talk to me about that brand. What exactly are they doing? What exactly have they done? And then we get into let's spend 10 minutes doing that. So I want for you to, any brand that you think is doing very well in the digital space, and just talk to me about that particular brand. I'll give you about 10 minutes and then we get back into the lecture, okay? Please, everybody, you need to talk. So I'm giving you 10 minutes. And then we have a discussion, all right? So at 8:30, we'll have a discussion.
Sir, I'm thinking digital.
Miss,
Um,
man say 8:30.
oh, okay.
I think we just have to, but we have to change that.
All right.
Well, I'm not change it.
Yeah, because we probably not say the same things. So yeah.
All right. Let me hear it. Let's go from the, well, not necessarily the top because Adrian is just joining us. Natisha, did you get a chance to look at any social brand, any digital brand? Natisha, are you there? Not hearing from Natisha. Anne-Marie, did you get a chance to look at any digital brand? Any local one, that is?
Well, sir, know that you said local, probably because digital is not really local. Is not really a local brand. Although,
Anne-Marie, are you there?
sir, you're not
Are you
hearing
hearing
me?
me?
Hello.
I don't know if you're talking, but
I'm talking, sir. I don't know if you're hearing
I'm not hearing
me.
you, Anne-Marie. You seem as if you're talking, but I am not hearing you.
Oh, I don't know then, sir.
See if you're, and I don't think you're muted.
No,
So I'm not
I'm
sure why I'm
not.
not hearing you.
I'm hearing her. I'm hearing both of you.
Tamara, say, go ahead, Tamara.
I was saying I'm hearing both of you.
Why am I not hearing anybody? But nothing is wrong with my volume.
Sir, we're hearing you and
Are you guys hearing me? Because I'm not hearing anybody.
yes, we are.
So how I'm not hearing you guys? But I'm not hearing you. Can you guys say something? I'm seeing what you're saying in the chat, but I want to know that you are actually saying something.
Sir, we're talking.
Hold on. I'm going to make someone host and then log back in, all right?
Okay.
Tamara, I've made you host, so give me 1 sec. Are you here? Say, Tamara, make me back host, please.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just hearing you guys now. Because I have to end the session. Okay, thank you very much. All right. I was asking now, any of you guys checked, you looked at any local example in terms of digital brand?
Sir, I was saying to you that I looked at Digicel, but then I realized Digicel is not really local, though Jamaica is one of its biggest market, but it's not really a local brand.
Okay, well, you can look at Digicel because it operates locally. So you can look at it in terms of Jamaica and what is it that they're doing digitally. So you can look at Digicel. I don't want you to do Digicel as your project though, because we already have, I gave an example of that, but Digicel could be an example, and you know that they are very, I would say, very robust in terms of their digital presence.
Right. I think one of the things that they do, they look at the tactics of how they're going to approach what the market or the segmentations of the market, and also the different medias that they're going to use as a platform to advertise.
Right, they're very strategic in terms of their platforms and their ads. Thanks for that, Almarine. Anybody else? Tamara and Atisha? Anything from you guys?
Yes, sir. I also looked at Digicel. Everything that Anne-Marine said, and also in terms of their presence, I think they're most about experience. So mainly in their ads, they use experiences. They also use celebrities and influencers.
And popular culture.
And popular culture, yes.
Yeah, they use a lot of popular culture, yes.
They also develop their own apps for more engagements.
Right. Anything from Natisha? Anything from you? Did you get a chance to look at any local brand in the digital space? Not hearing anything from Natisha. Adrian, you finally joined us.
Sir, electricity was out, sir.
Oh yes, I think Aldine said that. Which section of Jamaica are you?
Sir, close to Spanish Town.
Oh, okay. So probably something relating to St. Catherine.
Yes, sir. From about 5 minutes to 7, it went out.
Oh, okay. Usually if I'm home and there's no light, I find someone else's yard to go because I can't deal with darkness.
Oh, just the curfew now, sir.
Oh yeah,
And the
curfew.
darkness.
Yes. Well, if I have a car, trust me, that curfew, I would not give a rat's behind about the curfew. I'll be driving out and find some story to give the police. Anyways, welcome, sir.
Sir.
So let's go back into now the lecture in terms of giving some additional information about developing your digital marketing plan. And this is the final lap, quote unquote. So digital strategy, a set of practices and goals that guide your long-term digital objectives and operates across all digital channels that your customer utilizes. And just remember the set of practices and goals. Goals are very important. All right. The philosophies of digital strategy, content, advertising, participation, and the balance of all of them. All right. And you have digital marketing versus digital media. Digital media is what you have, whether the media is owned, whether the media is earned, and whether the media is, what's the other one? Is own, earned, can't remember the other one. And digital marketing now is the actual operationalization of utilizing digital channels. So think of digital media as the channels and the digital marketing as the utilization of these digital channels. How does a strategy affect digital marketing activity? Gives a clear understanding of the purpose digital has for your business and allows you to establish clearly defined success outcomes. And that is very, very important. We spoke a little bit about some of the core components of digital strategy. This is partly why I mentioned content marketing in our last class. We were introduced to the notion of tactics. We mentioned the whole notion of media strategy and also the channel. And what does it stand for? Well, I don't want to get into all of that. That's not necessarily here. The purpose of the planning phase, to establish the foundation of your strategy, to establish current activities, expectations, and resources, and to establish requirements, budget, and ownership. And please remember, in both your social media marketing plan and your digital marketing plan, you must have a budget. There must be a page that is budget. All right, and I see exactly the cost. I want a line budget where I can see the cost of each initiative. That's very, very important. Some of these things we have actually gone through. Reasons for utilizing digital strategy, commercial success, audience reach. These are really just like objectives. All right. So commercial success, meaning that you want to ensure that you have sales. You want to increase sales by 10% or whatever. Audience reach is that you want to grow your reach in the digital space and you want more engagement. And also you want to look at the overall campaign performance in terms of whether it was successful or not. Commercial success, site visits, sentiment, engagement, leads, the number of leads that you get, the awareness, whether or not you have increased your awareness in the marketplace, and also sales in terms of conversion, if that is the conversion, one of the conversion goals you have set out. All right, you want to and as I mentioned about site visits, you want traffic to your website because that's the hub or the digital face of your company. Audience reach, earned media. This is the one I was trying. No, I think I mentioned earned media actually. Earned media, owned media. Earned, owned, can't remember the other one. Sentiment, these are just things that are posted by persons. Site visits, again, awareness and insight, which is part of the analytics. Customer engagement, that's part of it. You're looking at these particular things. Campaign performance, this is when you're now doing, so this is expectations. So these are part of the objectives. As I said, campaigns performance, you want to increase leads by 3% or 10%. You want to increase customer engagement by 5%, 60%, site visits, awareness, sales, and so forth. Those are actually what you put in your objectives. The timelines, usually the timelines, year 1, year 2, year 3. Sometimes companies don't necessarily have it so long. They have for example, they have a year. They do it a digital marketing plan for each year, all right, instead of having 3 years, because the digital space usually changes so rapidly. All right, have realistic goals, split goals into phases to create achievable stages. It could be, for example, that in year 1 is just about awareness, then the year 2 is consideration and year 3 is conversion. It depends on the nature of what you're trying to accomplish. The ROI, which means return on investment, is the cost of your digital activities versus the return it generates. So you want to divide how much you have spent into versus the amount that you have generated in terms of incomes. Measuring success, sales versus leads. Sales is actually a dollar value. Leads is the number of persons that you have contacted. The details about these customers or prospects, phone number, age. Sometimes you get email address, things like that. Age. It depends. All right. Metric versus commercial outcome. These metric are things that can be measured, as we said before, and what is the commercial outcome of all the activities that you have done. Digital audit, very important, and we did talk a little bit about it in terms of a SWOT analysis, an assessment of all currently active digital media channels to identify the general state of your digital activities. In other words, what particular platforms are you using, and are they the best to accomplish the goals of this particular marketing campaign, digital marketing campaign? Is it that, for example, you need to use some and not use others? Is it that you need to explore new ones such as TikTok? All right. Establishing the current standard of your digital channels. These are just, doing the kind of audit thing. I don't want to get into that. Resources needed to establish a successful strategy. Time, very important. Money, even more important, and having the right human resource who will be able to execute that. I think in the last class, we were trying to come up with somewhat. So this is a resource map, how to compare your current versus your required resources. Again, this is important in terms of time, in terms of, we said time, money, and people. Content is king. They always tell you that content is king. Depending on the nature of the content, that can lead to the success or the unsuccessful campaign. And this is just giving an example in terms of the dollar value. What does a budget consist of? People, technology, training, and process. Sometimes you need to train your staff if you don't want to outsource some of the digital marketing activities. A lot of companies use outside companies for some things. Like we use outside companies for some things, even when the talent is inside, but because we don't have enough personnel to monitor that. So sometimes you need outside help. Key considerations in terms of budgeting: target audience, number of customers, the money. Under investing, you have to be very careful that you don't under invest and expect returns when it doesn't make sense. Ad spend allocation, how much are you going to spend in the different space? If you're going to use, for example, Google advertising, how much you're going to spend there, as opposed to Facebook advertising, as opposed to TikTok, as opposed to LinkedIn, as opposed to email marketing. It just depends on what you're doing. All right. And this is an example, developing a budgeting plan. They're showing you the amount of money that is going to be spent over time. So salaries, training, recruitment, media spent. They're showing a search, social display. Display can be quite a little bit expensive, and display is usually about awareness, search marketing, social media, and so forth. Yeah, I don't want to get into all of that. Well, the tiered team structure just means that you usually have a manager who supervises, other people, provides vision, head of digital. Many companies don't really have this. You find these more in digital marketing, with digital marketing companies, not actually with individual companies like an Excel Second to College. Right, owned, accessed. Oh, where's my change? So research, very important. We spoke a little bit about it as well. Part of the research is looking at your competitors. So to learn as much as possible before developing a strategy. All right, research map. I'll do a strong research and project report. All right, so research that your business owns, and we talked a little bit about research, and I don't want to get necessarily too much into it, but what they're saying is that there's no way you can be carrying out a marketing campaign without doing adequate research. All right, it's very, very important that you do adequate research. Some of it is research or data that is available to you. Others you can check, like, you get secondary sources and kind of check through that. You also may, for example, some companies, like in Canada, there are many research companies that sell research data. And so there are a lot of companies that buy research data and use the data to inform how they do their digital marketing, all right? don't want to get necessarily way into research, but yes, this is important in terms of social channel insights. They're talking about data analytics, whether it be Google Analytics or your Facebook Analytics. Very, very critical. And you use this now to make informed decisions going forward. So this is part of the research that you're doing. And I'm sure at the beginning of this course, I showed you where Hootsuite did research on the various countries and in terms of their digital marketing presence and the platforms that are being used. And we were able to identify the 4 top social media platforms in Jamaica: Facebook, Messenger, Instagram, and WhatsApp. We did this, remember, this is something that we did, website analytics. We primarily looked at Google Analytics. So it's important to look at the back end of your website. Do some Google advertising as well to see where your users are coming from, how long they're staying on your page, what content they're engaging with, and so forth, and whether or not the bounce rate is high or low. And if it is high, 50% and above, why is it high? It could mean that the information that is on the website is not user-friendly or doesn't provide them with what they are looking for. All right, I don't want to get too much into research. They're just giving you different things. This research is just really just using articles and so just reading these kinds of things and just kind of gaining insights. That's really what is this research. And you can use Google, you can use, I'm sure I mentioned, you can use, for example, it's called academia.edu. You can use, they call it, what's that thing called again? Yeah, there are many databases that you can use, as well as Google. Can't remember this one. It's an academic one. Can't remember from memory. Google Keyword Planner, very, very important. These are social, quote unquote, tools that you can use to gain insight, to get data. So Facebook Audience Insight, very important. Twitter Audience Insight, and Google Keyword Planner. In other words, what specific keywords are being used in the marketplace. We spoke about audience personas, very important. You need to know which segment you're going after in the marketplace, or which segments you're going after. And probably if there are 5 segments in the marketplace, it doesn't mean that you need to go after all 5. It could be that you just go after 3 that will give you the highest returns on your investment. Key insight from audience personas. We kind of talk a little bit about this, so I don't want to revisit the discussion. This is important now, the competitor research, very, very critical. And we spoke about it somewhat, so I'm just going to re-emphasize this. A process of establishing a clear picture of your competitive landscape by identifying each of your competitors, the quality and size of their digital media channels, and an interpretation of their strategies. And even in your social media marketing plan, I am supposed to see this very clear. So if it is that your competitors are on LinkedIn or they're on Twitter or they're on Facebook, I need to see how many followers do they have in comparison to the number of followers for the brand that you are developing the social media marketing campaign for. The benefits, you're able to identify their channels, the channel gaps. Is it that, for example, they're not exploring certain channels that you can actually use to gain, to increase your market share, things like that. Social listening, I think I introduced you to this concept of social listening, observing or collating live social conversations to derive insight from the language and topics that are appearing in conversation. In other words, what conversations are trending in the marketplace relating to your brand. And when I say in the marketplace, let's say social marketplace, in terms of, what are people talking about in relation to, like, if they say Digicel or Flow or whatever, what are they saying, and how can you use that now to drive information or to drive decision making in terms of your plan? These are social listening tools that you can use to help you to gain insight about various brands, especially your competitors. So observational versus empirical, making assumptions about your audience and building a theory of how they behave versus validating your observational assumptions through the use of empirical data. Very, very important. How do you do it? Use keywords, social search, check for additional keywords, identify trends, and establish insight. All right, and I'm sure you would see many brands on social media, they actually interact with customers live, whether it be live or even via Messenger or just by commenting. So they hear somebody say, what is this credit card about, or how can I use this? And you see the brand itself responding and engaging people, spending sometimes the entire day talking to customers, because it's very deliberate for them to understand what customers are saying about their brand in the social space. All right. Okay, I think we started. That's just a summation. All right, this part is important. Please remember that your objectives have to be SMART. Anybody remembers what you mean by SMART? When I say that your objectives must be SMART, does anybody remember what that means?
Specific,
Yes.
measurable, attainable, and time bound.
Yes, thank you very much. All right, so very, very critical, very key in terms of when you're setting up your objectives, channel objectives, media benchmarks, content. We're going to get into that. So key performance indicators, we kind of looked at that before. Just this is where now you're developing the KPIs for your digital marketing plan. All right, so there are two ways of how you can look at this. So your objectives can include all of these things or some of these things. It could be that you want to increase sales by 3%, 30%, site visit engagements, and all the other things, all right? And here we talk about SMART goals. Level of success. What are the most common KPIs? Conversions, remember conversion is really anything that you wanted, any action you wanted a customer to take that the customer actually took, all right? And there is no digital marketing plan or any marketing plan without having KPIs, key performance indicators, to indicate to management, especially the senior management, how is it that you're going to measure the success or failure of the campaign, so that you're able to either repeat the success or work on the failures. Talking a little bit too much. Usually I don't talk so long. I'm not getting to all of these things. Departmental accountability. All right. So remember, no, digital marketing does not operate in isolation. And digital marketers don't operate in isolation. Also, they usually work with like the customer service team, the persons who understand the product very well. They work sometimes with the public relations team. And everybody has different accountabilities in terms of the KPIs. So when you go to that post, we usually say the post-campaign meeting, you're able to present as let's just say as a digital marketer, you're able to present on the KPIs of your campaign. And when, for example, if you collected, let's just say you collected 3,000 leads, then, for example, the salespersons are able to talk about response time, response rate, and things like that, and how people felt about the brand, and all of that, whether or not, how many sales did sales increase or decrease. Click-through rate is just really what were they clicking on. Conversions in terms of did they take the action that we wanted them to take, and things like that. I'm not going to get through all of these, all of these things. So this is, we kind of looked at some of this already. Let me just check the time. The purpose of the prepare phase, to gather all assets, resources, and materials to put your strategy into action. Asset development, strategies, and connection. Asset, really, you're talking about your content. Very, very important. All right? You're really talking about your content. The overarching strategy now, our audience expect to be engaged through video content that is consumed creates a positive experience. Videos are compelling. And video-based advertising is far more, you get far more reaction or engagement from customers versus a print ad. It's very, very, and there are so many softwares that you can now use to create video ads. You don't necessarily have to do it yourself. All right. Storytelling is very important, especially in the social space. And we looked at some examples, actually gave you some case studies examples where most of the time that's how persons are, that's what persons are using to engage. That's what brands are using to engage their customers in the digital space. Search strategy, meaning that as a part of your digital marketing strategy, you must include search marketing. All right, it's very, very, so this is Google AdWords. And when it says paid versus organic is just the fact that you can pay Google to advertise your content. This is the AD here means advertising. It's an ad, or organic means that this one that is not paid. All right. Meta tags really just has to do with the kinds of words or keywords that you use, and the site content and SEO. Site content is important in the sense that is it relevant to what you're discussing, and does it help persons to find you when they, for example, are searching for a new car? All right. Keyword planner, you just use Google Keyword Planner to suggest to you the kinds of keywords that you, for example, need to put in your copy and on your landing page and things like that. All right, semantic search, display advertising. Usually this is just done for brand awareness. Display advertising is really for brand awareness. It's never really about conversion, really about telling people about the product or the service. So usually display advertising comes as a first part of the campaign. All right, you have static versus rich. Google Display Network, you use the Google Display Network to do the display advertising, and it drives a lot of clicks to your website or traffic or site visits. All right, brand safety. I don't know that we necessarily need to get into this because this really is not something that we are, this is a concept that I'm being introduced to, programmatic advertising. Oh yes, so automation now, it's a part of marketing that is becoming more and more important. I'm sure you guys, have you ever clicked on an ad or signed up something online and you get an email, and then you click on the email and then suddenly they're like emailing you about the product and you get a lot of information, no matter what hour of the night you click on the ad or you interacted with the brand. Has that ever happened to anybody?
Yes, sir.
It is based on automation. So the system is automated based on you click on something and then the system is automated in a way that responds to you. All right, I'm going to stop here for today. It's what, 2 minutes to 9. All right, are there any questions? Are we understanding in terms of our digital marketing plan? Because remember now, this is the exam assignment and it's going to be individual or peer.
Lord. Sir, you sent the example. You had an example of one
For one.
for the final assignment.
If I sent an example, yeah, man, it's in the group. I sent more than one example actually.
Okay.
But I'll share additional example. What I'll do in the last class or so forth, we will just go through an actual example. Some of what I'm saying now is just additional information to give you a broader context, but it's not necessarily that you need to put every single thing there in it. All right. Any other question?
Oh, sir.
All right, have a good evening, everybody. I'll see you guys next week.
All right, sir. Thank you.
All right, have a good evening, everybody.